Your boys are back, baby. And right now we're going to talk about, we're going back to the positions. All right. Cornerback. All right. One of the strengths of the old regime, I would say, is it a strength of this new regime? Well, we're going to talk about it. We are going line by line to talk about all of these people. We've already seen some new additions. Do we need more new additions? Do we need some subtraction from by addition? We'll figure that out right after the intro. Boy Green meets Woody.
Can you guys help us get a jet chant here? Yeah, going.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Come on in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go!
J-E-T-S, jet, let's go! J-E-T-S, jet, let's go! There you go, Woody!
Third Party Thursday.
Chris joining us here on the program with a capital P here on the program.
Jake Asman, come on down. How you doing, good sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, Boy Green is known for having the intro, but Woody, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words, son.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there, baby.
Boy Green
Meets Woody. Welcome to another episode of Boy Green Meets Woody. And according to this YouTube comment, it is actually Morning Woody's favorite duo. Let's go. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All right. Here is the favorite duo. You already know it's me. Woody, rocking everywhere. Right next to me is the boy who became king, Mr. Paul Edson Jr. himself. How are you doing, my good sir?
Well, I love the green. This looks very nice. I love this. One of my favorite jet polos I have, the green and white. I feel like a referee if on St. Patty's Day, perhaps. It feels great. I love doing the show with you, Woody. I always have to make sure, because when Morning Woody is on, I have to make sure I don't start mixing up my Woodies and Woodies, because we've had that with a few of our guests in the past. Hey, what's up, Woody? And you're like, hey, that's the owner of the team. I am Woody. So, getting some of that action in. So it's great to be here, pal. It's great to be here.
Yes, it's definitely a distinct enunciation, happens to the best of us. Happen in school, right? Teachers, right? They just gotta let them know what's good. Another thing about enunciation is new addition versus new edition, which is something I definitely thought about, Terrence. When I said the words, I was trying to think of a song real quick, one of their songs to try to throw into a pun, but I couldn't think of one quick enough. Oh. So I'm glad, Terrence, that you still on it though. With the pop culture reference. But I'm this group, right? We've talked about a few now, right? We've talked defensive line,
sure.
We talked receiver, we talked linebacker.
Yeah.
It seems like everything. I don't even know if I should talk, because everything that I say, they doing the opposite. If we could just have a quick, and I know silence, is frowned upon in this industry, but it's a quick moment of silence for the captain, CJ Mosley, who was just ruthlessly cut by this team. Thank you so much. Terrible,
my captain.
Terrible. So they did not listen to me regarding the linebacker situation, and who knows if they're going to listen to me regarding the cornerback situation. What do we got going?
Well, if we're going to be cueing songs, I'm going through changes. Charles Bradley. Changes. A little Charles Bradley action, which is the theme song to Little Big Mouth for Netflix fans. I have not watched all of that, but I've walked in a few times with my fiance watching it, which is the same song, Changes, Charles Bradley. There's a lot of changes. I mean, some expected, of course. DJ Reed getting a crazy $16 million per year. Get it if you can.
That crazy? That's crazy. That's well. I'm so happy for him.
No, I'm not saying crazy like, oh man, what are they doing? It's crazy, just like this smaller corner he grabbed from Seattle for $11 million a year on a 3-year deal. And people looked at it sideways like, who the hell is DJ Reed? and DJ Reed coming here, being one of the best Jets free agents we've ever had. It's just crazy cool. Like, I don't know. Yeah, let me, I guess, clarify my crazy. There's all kinds of crazy. It's just
There
an
are
amazing.
definitely different kinds of crazy.
That's for damn sure. But it's just beautiful. It's awesome. You root for stories like this. And, to see DJ on an awesome team in Detroit. He's a feisty player. I know a lot of Jet fans soured on him last year and didn't like how he answered questions about his upcoming free agency. I thought he was just refreshingly blunt. And, in a day and age where players are certainly not that, it's all these 110% for the team. They don't say anything anymore. They used to say everything. So to be honest, while it bothered some people, I respected it. I think we all read the room. It was very unlikely DJ Reed was coming back regardless of who the head coach was. That was pre-AG. It just seemed very clear he was going into different water with age and everything else, how it all turned out. And I was fine with it because good for DJ to go get his bag, but it's awesome. He got 3-year, $48 million, playing for a great team, getting
We
it back.
fired his coach.
We
fired
did.
his coach.
We did. And this just goes to show you that perhaps the Jets made a mistake. So DJ Reed I don't know if anyone watches Lions presser besides me in Jets land, but I watched it and he was very forthcoming. Again, the honesty. He revealed the two teams he wanted to go to in free agency. He said, I had a lot of offers, but there were two teams I wanted to go to. It was the Detroit Lions and the Washington Commanders. And the Washington Commanders called the Jets ahead of the trade deadline. Hey, is that DJ Reed fella available? And Joe Douglas went, nope, and hung up. And they went, oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll call the Saints about Marshawn Lattimore. And they traded for Marshawn Lattimore. So especially with when you look at DJ Reed, his comp pick we would have gotten has already been canceled out by other additions we've already made. The only comp pick we are set to get in comp pick bingo, we should probably, I guess, do a show about all that and explain how that works in the future, but is a 4th-round draft choice for Hassan Reddick, of all people. The surprising money. It looks like currently, unless they sign a Stephon Diggs or something, like for crazy money, like $15 million, then the Jets are set to get that 4th for Hassan. So we basically traded a 3rd for a 4th next year if that all comes to fruition, which makes the trade a lot less worse. But it's sort of crazy that is the comp pick bingo that we're getting absolutely zip and pip. But we could have gotten a lot more if we traded him, which the Jets refused to do, and they lost him anyway. And ultimately, it looks like for nothing. So big changes for DJ Reed. And then I want to give a big salute. We haven't talked a lot about it. I wrote an article halfway through, but I had to stop because of other breaking news, which is sort of a microcosm of this man's career. Brandon Echols. I never got back to it. I saw it the other day when I was working somewhere else. I'm like, oh, Brandon Echols went to the Steelers. I never finished that piece. And it's sort of like we never finished talking about the guy. I love Brandon Echols. He was a star gunner for us on top of what he did when he came in, was a ball hawk and everything else. It seemed like he had magnets for hands, and he went to Pittsburgh. So we lose DJ Reed as starting corner, and we lose our top reserve in Brandon Echols. And we could talk about some of the additions, but we could start with the departures. And I love my boy Brandon Echols.
Yeah, I think those are two big losses. I don't want to, speak in hyperbole and say, the biggest losses ever, but, those are two big losses that I think will be felt. I, spoiler alert, don't think that they were appropriately replaced, but, we're going to talk about the additions. DJ Reed, dog, I mean, each year was, flirting with, top to top 10, but he was at some parts number 1 cornerback in the league. Absolute dog. They got an absolute stud there in Detroit. And then Brandon Echols, like you said, definitely flashed when we needed him. He seemed to be the only corner that could catch. Really, I mean, for everything I just said about DJ and Sauce, I mean, DJ had his first game as a Jet.
Ravens. I was there in person. Yeah.
Yes. But after that, he wasn't really catching like that. I felt like Echols was really the catcher of that unit. But for Reed, it is what it is. And that's one thing with, the Glenn era is that we saw Stala consistently draw talent to the team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. This is, and anytime I don't say anything that's positive, you guys are like, oh, he's a hater, all this type of stuff. But it's just worth pointing out. But it's not. It's just an observation. I can make observations positive and negative. That Aaron Glenn doesn't seem to have that same pull. It would have been nice to have Onwuzurike, some of these guys that he's coached up, and they all just like, nah, peace, like. But Saleh was consistently drawing guys to the team, and I would put my foot down and say that DJ Reed was the best draw that Saleh had.
Yeah, I'd have to. Well, I mean, you're throwing some disrespect on Solomon Thomas, Solly Thomas, for God's sake. Some Javon Kinlaw action, some Quan Alexander.
Loved Quan.
Who did we? We had. We definitely had. Oh my God! What Tevin Coleman? Little Tevin Coleman.
Oh,
Tico.
Yes.
There you go. There's some pulls off the top of my head. That's crazy.
Yes.
For some of the guys, Laken Tomlinson. My boy Laken. Unfortunately, it didn't work out as great, but my boy, and Quincy. Quincy was a development story. We're talking about me and Woody are talking about players like from previous stops, right? If you're looking around the line,
specifically came.
Right,
play
because
because
Quincy worked out really well because the Jets scooped him up off waivers and they liked him a lot. But there's no direct. It's not like Sal was on the Jaguars when they drafted Quincy. We're talking about straight up connections.
Yeah. And, Quincy, but Quincy's another great solid bucket in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah.
Is somebody's trash who Saleh made a treasure. His co-mate Jamie Sherwood, I would put in that same
great story.
Bucket. Michael Carter II.
That's impressive. I will just say the Jets' ability to play defense. And what I mean by that is literally, but specifically, Sherwood. Jeff Ulbrich, I'm sure, was drooling. And that's what, according to Jeremy Fowler, joined me a couple months ago on the show. And he said, hey, Robert Saleh in San Francisco and Jeff Ulbrich in Atlanta, they want Jamie and Sherwood. And I'm like, oh boy, that could be a problem. Because I'm sure through the right channels, cough, hey, Jamie, just wait to hit the open market, buddy. We're waiting for you, right? And you could do that knowing, right, a gentle conversation. They can, get that out from the agent to him. And Sherwood's like, nah, I'm good. I'm staying here with the Jets. Now, he got good money. It's not like he stayed here for pennies. He stayed here for a good deal. But it's really cool, the defense of Aaron Glenn to retain. I'll give him major credit for that. By the way, a quick shout-out here. Before the show started, Julio Rivera, baby, a brand new member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Julio punched his own ticket in, which, guys, you can do in the YouTube description down below. It's join the Boy Green Coffee Club here, only $2.99 a month. Julio, not only did you get all the perks of the Boy Green Coffee Club experience, but you also have a raffle ticket for a contest at the end of the month. We have another 10-plus days left in that. Again, all raffle tickets throughout the month of March are eligible for our giveaway, and I'll throw that up on the screen real quick because I want to make sure get my reading glasses out here. Booyah! New York Jets Patrick Super Bowl prize pack, including multiple unique items from past Super Bowls, plus custom laser engraving Jets Boy Green package. And Woody will give you a smile. Boom. There you go. Hey, there it is. That's it. Sorry, you got it early, folks. But Julio, welcome to the program. Appreciate you, pal. Thanks for supporting the channel. God bless. Thank you kindly. So we talked about the departure. So again, sucks. I'm glad they were both Brandon Echols guys. Again, talk about a 6th-round pick. How many 6th-round picks have hit for the Jets? Brandon Echols was the smaller corner, and everyone said, oh, slot guy. You're like, no, he's a boundary corner. You're like, what? And then everything he's done. So, man, for a late round pick to hit the way he did, I am so happy for Brandon. Again, I wish he would have stayed, but he got a new deal. And so we those were the departures. We brought back Isaiah Oliver. So he's back. Throw him in the room. They signed Brandon Stevens. He was the headline of this morning's show. Apparently, he was in contract negotiations with the Dallas Cowboys, and then he pivoted and said, I'm going to sign with the Jets. Now, Woody sounds like he said, I wish he would have signed with Dallas, but that's neither nor there. Perhaps we'll get into that. So Brandon Stevens comes over, 3-year deal, $36 million, $20 million plus guaranteed. And you have Quantez Stiggers, obviously, from last year. You still have JBC, Jarek Bernard Converse, but the additions are Brandon Stevens to the cornerback room, and then obviously bringing back Isaiah Oliver. It's kind of a do-it-all man in the secondary.
Yeah, I mean, do it all, but keep up with opposing wide receiver too. But
Oh,
yeah, yeah, this position definitely worries me a little bit. I
really?
think
Okay.
I could be. We still don't know what Steve Willis is gonna cook up, dial up.
Hmm.
I've heard from somewhere, and I apologize for not being able to quote my source, but I promise I didn't just like make it up. That we might be seeing a blitz heavy attack from this Steve Wilkes defense,
Hey now.
which is the exact opposite of what we've seen from Salah. Um, and that's why they like Stevens, right? To be able to be physical. He's one of the better tacklers
Mhm.
at the position. And if you watched the Jets last year, tackling was quite an issue. It was quite an
Sucks.
issue.
Yeah.
So tackling, yes, okay, could be an upgrade there. Coverage, almost definitely not an upgrade. And what scares me is that on the defensive line, I'm not seeing a real great improvement with the pass rush. So I guess that's where the blitzing comes in to try to create pressure so that the receivers don't have so many seconds to break down in coverage. Because I do not trust Brandon Stevens whatsoever to cover any of these receivers, especially in our beloved AFC East. I mean, Jalen Waddle is going to be barbecue chicken. It's going to be barbecue
Oof.
chicken. That's okay, fine. We'll see if
They
they
might be
add.
getting Stephon Diggs. Huh? They're hosting old Stephon Diggs.
I did see that. I'm not worried. Like Diggs isn't who he was.
Oof.
I think he's the exact opposite person you should bring around Drake May.
Oof.
Um, but if they do that, then that's on them. Come on, Vrabel. You better than that. But let them
But
make
this,
their mistake.
but here's a real quick aside. I think I talked about this on the morning show, but real quick. Did you see the Patriots report of why they didn't want Devontae Adams and DK Metcalf? Did you see that report?
I did not actually.
Okay, here it is. This is from
Talk to
New
me.
England Patriots land. Tom Curran, NBC Sports, Boston. Okay. He says the reason the Patriots were not in on the DK Metcalf trade from the Seattle Seahawks and Devontae Adams is a free agent is because the Patriots did not want to add a receiver to the room. I'm trying to make sure I use the right verbiage he had in his story that would negatively impact Drake May by saying, like, hey, give me the ball and stuff like that. Like, whoa, that'd be bad for our young quarterback. So he said that like 2 weeks ago. And now I hear Stephon Diggs getting a free agent host visit for the Patriots. I'm like, wait a second. So you said you were worried about DK Metcalf or Devontae having a negative impact on young Drake May, but Stephon Diggs is the solution who got traded from two places, Minnesota and the Buffalo Bills, from usage and how he was not getting the rock enough, especially look at the final run in Buffalo. It wasn't working well. And they're like, all right, and then trade. Like, okay, New England, all right. Sounds like desperate teams call for desperate measures with that shitty ass record. But anywho, I digress. It just seems odd. But yeah, no, real quick on that dig stuff. It just seems odd. Anywho.
Definitely seems odd. He is. I would put him at the forefront of being that type of player above those guys.
Present.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if DK. To be honest with you, I'm not sure if DK is that guy. I think
I haven't heard a lot of that noise. I've heard it with so let's see. Devontae,
he hated Jimmy Garoppolo, which
I guess that's true.
everyone
That's,
should.
well,
But they don't.
that's a good point. But Stephon 100% has been that dude, and Devontae maybe in spurts has been that dude. And DK, I don't know. I don't cover Seattle Seahawks football, so I guess I'm not in the nitty gritty to that perspective, maybe. But yeah, anywho, that just seems odd from New England. But again, this is a Jet show, not a New England show. But we'll see what happens there from that perspective. I will say this: I like Isaiah Oliver coming back. Again, I'm not going to try to sell you, oh, the greatest corner of all time was just that. And what about
You are the type of person that would do that, but you're taking a break.
I
today.
digress.
I appreciate you.
I digress. But this is a guy that can play safety, nickel, outside corner. I like Isaiah Oliver. I like the versatility. You get him for dirt cheap. I love take a gander next time you guys have a chance at the Pro Football Focus. One of the cool features they have is snap breakdown of how much they played this past season of their career at this position, which is why Brandon Stevens comes up as another guy who's played slot, safety, in the box. You look at all the analytics, he's played all over the place, which is sort of cool. It sounds like the Jets will be exclusively using him at corner for his job. Again, he may occasionally be at other places, but it sounds like he's going to be lined up as the main replacement for DJ Reed. But when you look at Brandon Stevens, he's basically Sauce, but not as good. And what I mean by that is this. When you read Brandon Stevens' bio thing that people have been putting out there, they're like, well, he's always in the vicinity. He has tight coverage, right? The analytics, I read some of them earlier. I could read them again if people missed it earlier. But like he's always in position, but never makes a play. It sounds like another corner in the Jets room, which is always in position, but rarely makes the play, which is the interception. Might be Sauce. So
whoa, that's great. I can't even let
come on now.
That blasphemy continue. What do you mean? Sauce was among one of the tops in pass deflections.
No, I'm not saying. I said
is that not a play on the ball? Are you serious?
I was very specific with my lingo. I said picks.
No, you said never makes the play.
Then I said specifically at the end of my answer, picks. Because I know he has a lot of pass deflection, so I avoided that word. I'm saying picks, interceptions, ball hawk.
But
see, Euro said he's not closer to Sauce, but I understand your analogy. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm about to just say, nah, he's just a guy that can tackle, not good in coverage. They plan on using him some specific way, but I'm not hyped. He's not DJ Reed. He's not better than DJ Reed. He's not, better than Sauce. I also, it's also worth mentioning. I hope that they can help Sauce, get back to a place where everybody universally loves him again. Remember, there was never a time where I thought he was the best corner in football. You guys called me a hater.
Yeah. Yep.
I never hated him.
PS2.
I've actually pretty much had the same amount of love for him this whole time. Right? You guys super love, now all of a sudden super down. I've been pretty high on him from the get-go. This past season, he was still really good. Just wasn't he missed a few tackles, and then I feel like social media pretty much turned you guys against him more than his actual play on the field. That against the Cardinals game when people were now saying like, oh, he missed that tackle right on that third down.
That was terrible against Ertz, or not Ertz. Who's the young guy? McBride. Third and 16. Sauce. Come on, dude. That was a weak.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it was the social his response, and then you guys are like, stay off social media.
Because he gave a shitty thing. He's like, come on, there was one tackle. We lost by 40. Dude, you can't say that. And number two, it was a key part of the game. It turned it around. The Cardinals, after converting that very long third down, ended up scoring a touchdown, and the whole game flips. Momentum is a real thing.
The whole game flipped from 10-0 to 40-0.
Come on.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't actually know the score, but we didn't score at any point. So how you gonna say it didn't flip? Like it flipped. Like we didn't have.
If we would have gotten the ball back, because that was third and 16. So if we get the ball back, who knows if we could get back into the game? But again, Sauce just went. Yeah, basically, he didn't say it verbatim, but come on, we lost 1,000-0. Who gives a shit about my one missed tackle? Which again, I don't think that's a great way to present that to the fan base and the media, but you know what? Again, you have accused me, Woody, of being a little too aggressive on how people respond, like Malachi Corley. Oh, I don't give a shit. Who cares? And I'm like, what the hell? Give a little bit more remorse. You're like, what is this? You want them to beg and cry? So we've gotten into these debates before about how players respond to media, how I interpret it, how you interpret it, interpretive all over the place.
Of course, yes. You guys all know him, Boy Green, the chief of the Twitter police. All right, you got to make sure that everything you say in the press conference and on social media passes Boy Green's law, or you are just not a good football player anymore. Is that the law? Did I say the Miranda rights correctly?
Definitely not. But I will say this. Here's two things here. First off, keep it simple, RC. Real question is, who is BG's hat supplier? My game is on fire. And look at this polo. This polo is very nice too. But no, my hat game is always strong. But I would say here's my disappointing part of what the Jets did. And again, it wasn't what I expected them to. And the Jets don't have to do everything I expect, obviously. But I thought they'd go cheaper at corner and give my boy Quantez Stickers and Jarek Bernard-Converse a chance. You have two awesome corners. Sauce is an amazing corner, one of the top corners in football. I talked to Woody, obviously not the top corner in football, but one of the top corners in football. You have Michael Carter II, the highest paid nickel defender in the league. 2 of the 3 spots, really good. Most teams don't have one of those 3, let alone 2. So I thought, okay, on your opposite one, let's give the youngsters a chance. AG, you don't know who the hell Quantes is. Darren Muji, you don't know who Quantes is or JBC is. Like, you just see him on the roster, like, we're not giving them a chance. So signing Brandon Stevens, there's an exactly negative % chance that either of these 2 guys are going to be able to leapfrog Brandon unless he just gets hurt. So my disappointing part for me is I would have loved to see what the youngsters have from a rep perspective. Maybe they will get ops and how it all breaks down and veteran rest days and whatnot. Again, Brandon Stevens not 1,000. I really wish we would have saw these young cats get a chance because I'm very high on Quantes. I'm very high on what I saw from JBC in the preseason to see if they would have gotten a chance. So that's my only disappointing part about this process. With how this roster is constructed, there is no way any of those dudes are getting on the field outside of injury.
I would disagree. I think with Aaron Glenn, and this was a flaw of the previous regime that I think will be fixed in this regime, is that I do think it will be a meritocracy. I do think the best player will play regardless of contract. So if that turns out to be Quantes Stigers, I think he'll play. I really do. I'm seeing in the chat nothing but absolute love for this man, Quantes. Obviously we're all familiar with his story. We're all rooting for him. I was even thinking like, he might finish the season as CB2 or, to overtake, because I'm just not high on Stevens. But I disagree with, we should have let them fight out for that position. I would have just gotten a better cornerback.
Like who?
Why we waste time with Brandon Stevens? The names that we said, because we looked at this before, right? We talked about Darius Slay. We talked about some of these other guys, Carlton Davis. I knew Carlton Davis was going to probably price himself out.
Right? Oh, yeah, Buco bucks. He got wild money.
He did.
Like $20 million a year, I'm pretty sure. I think New England paid him 3 years, 60.
The Patriots, they out here, they just throwing money, which is why Diggs is talking with them. But the quarterback position, I feel like there were deals. I don't have Slay's numbers in front of me, but I think he signed
1 year, 10 mil, I believe.
Say that again.
I believe it was a 1 year, 10 mil fully guaranteed.
Let me see if that's true. Two for 20, but yeah, like I would have definitely.
Yep, 1 year, 10 million, 100%. That's what he got, fully guaranteed. That's true.
And they love 1 year deals this year for some reason. So if they wanted that, they could have done that. I'll say it once, I'll say it again. The Stevens deal doesn't do anything for me. I do like Stigers. I hope, Aaron Glenn, he says, he wants winners. People change culture. For everything we know about Quantes Stigers, that is a guy that's a winner. He is won in life, right? Yes. He has been thrown obstacle after obstacle, and here he is in the NFL. He is a winner by any measurement. So if that's the case, come on, AG, come develop this guy. I've had I guess reservations is the best word about the types of players that we're bringing in. I'm not sure if somebody who quits on their team, after one half of football is a winner. But AG is, I don't know. I guess we're gonna see real quickly if what he is saying is what he is preaching is what he's actually practicing.
Yeah, we'll get into Chuck Wuma in a second. I will say the thing I love, and some people have been talking about it in this section, you just talked about it a little bit there, Woody, is that the coaching staff around Quantes is going to take him to another level, man. That's what I'm really excited about. Obviously, I have AG. He played corner in the NFL for 15 years, an incredibly high level. You have Steve Wilkes. He's been a multiple-time head coach in the NFL, in interim status and full-time status before in his career. You have Chris Harris, who DB coach, passing game coordinator. You have Dre Bly, a former player in the league. You go around the block here of who's going to be around Quantes. I'm just really excited about what's going, again, quite simply, what's going to be around him as he's learning and getting the craft and everything else. He's a really, really talented guy. So I'm excited for him and JBC for that matter, sort of in the same realm. Unfortunately, JBC's been going through some injuries early in his career, but he's a guy I'm really excited about. He's got great traits. But I do, real quick, Chuck Wuma Okorafor, for those who are curious on how to pronounce it. I think there's more to the story, man. I know a lot of people are calling him Mr. Quitter. From everything I heard, there is a chance that Chuck Wuma, who has been a long-term right tackle in the league, he's only played 12 snaps at left tackle basically in his entire career, and that was the 12 snaps with the New England Patriots.
Yes.
That, from what I'm understanding from people I've been talking to in New England Patriots land, the Patriots signed him to be a right tackle, and shit happened, and they were like, left tackle? And he's like, I don't know. I've never done that. I'm not sure if that puts me in a good position. And then he tried it, and it went horrifically wrong in those 12 snaps in the first game. And then they had this big disagreement where ultimately they put him on the reserve, not report list, and him talking about his future and everything else. So, again, it's easy to say that he quit, and that's how it looks like on paper. But if they said, hey, you're a right tackle, buddy, that's what you're signing for, that's the free agent pitch, and then, just kidding, motherfucker. Hope you can learn to wipe with your other hand on your ass. Left tackle. He's like, what? I've never played left tackle in my life. I could understand how a guy like that would be super pissed. Like, whoa, man, that's not what I signed here for. That's not what I was asked to do. You are, and again, I don't want to go, hyperbolic here and say they signed him to play tight end and he's playing quarterback. It's offensive line, but still, left tackle to right tackle are completely different. And to me, like I said, that's. I think that's something we got to factor into the Chuck Wuma Okora for. And hopefully the Jets did their proper homework, obviously, before signing the guy.
Well, that's very nice of you, Boy Green, to completely defend, nearly indefensible actions. That's very nice of you.
Wow.
The one thing that I'll say about, the coaching stuff, like, because I see some comments echoing. You didn't say this. The comments are more really what said this is like, like now there's like an uptick on the defensive coaching with these players. So players that, were here for the Saleh regime right now, they will be like unlocked right under this new regime.
Oh, like better, and you're saying? Like progression or what?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, specifically with Stiggers. I'm not ready, and I actually don't see how, like, logically in March you could confidently say that you could say that this regime, and you name the guys, right? So theoretically, like that should be right.
They have great resumes: Dre Bly, Chris Harris, Steve Wilkes, AG. Yeah,
former players. And we'll see. I hope, but it's not like where Aaron Glenn came from. They were a DB factory because they weren't, right?
Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, those guys were pretty good.
Yeah, neither of them are corners. What are you talking about? They're safeties.
Brian Branch also plays in the nickel, but that's also part of his. He's a defensive coordinator. He doesn't just talk to corners; he talks to the entire defense. What do you mean?
So first of all, Brian Branch is also like a 5-star prospect that, like, he was considered like a can't miss prospect.
But he went in the second round.
Are you for real?
He went a second round, and Kirby Joseph went in the third round.
That was turned into something from nothing, like Jamie Sherwood.
A second, I'm not comparing draft development stories, but second or third round is not automatics. We've had second or third round picks not make the team.
Well, I mean, the Jets have one of the worst. I mean, that's not your barometer. That we can use for this general example. All I'm saying is that you guys act like he has sauce in Detroit. Like that's not true. Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson, right? Aiden Hutchinson, Anzalone, right? He had he had guys, but like it's not like he was out here developing corners at such a great level. So I'm not sure if him coming over to the Jets means that now Stiggers is going to reach some level where we've seen Saleh take Michael Carter as safety and make him one of these elite nickels. We've seen Jamie Sherwood. We've seen Quincy Williams, right? We were just talking about Terrence. Oh, that's not that bucket. That's a different bucket. Now I'm referring to this bucket of guys who were one team's trash, a late round draft pick or a waiver wire cut, who were then made into one of the best players in the league in their position. So I feel like if you want to talk about offensive progression, there's an uptick all the way. But you've seen with your eyes, personally seen with your eyes, garbage after garbage after garbage turned into gold. I cannot sit here and say in March that this coaching staff is going to be better at developing talent than the last coaching staff.
The Jets' defensive coaching staff that they currently have is far superior. That's a rich way to say it. It is far more experienced than the offensive staff that we have. And I know we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about comparing to the last regime. I'm not saying, and I'm not saying you said I'm saying this, I'm just reiterating it, that I'm not saying that this new staff is going to guaranteed be better than what we had before. I just feel confident in it based on who they are. And again, that could mean nothing, right? We've had all kinds of big names show up here and then they suck as players or coaches. The offensive side's the opposite, right? There's all these guys. Tanner Engstrand, I don't know. He's never called plays at the NFL level. Well, that should be default, be better than what we had. So arrow up. Let's see what happens. But his mystery of intrigue could be mystery intrigue and he sucks. It could also be mystery intrigue and he's good. We'll see. I feel good about the staff, though, that is around Quantes, and we will see what that means for assumed progressions. Perhaps that's rich in March, but I feel good about the grade. If you gave me like, hey, Paul, how good are you feeling about this position, this position, this position? I go the secondary with AG and all those guys there. I'm like, yeah, I feel pretty good. Steve Wilkes, he was too at a different point, but Aaron Glenn was among the better defensive coordinators in all of football. And one of those jobs is honing and developing talent. Now, we don't have these Sauce stories or Jamie and Sherwood stories or this guy or this guy or this guy consistently, but let's see what he does in the big head chair. That's going to be his opportunity. Just like Saleh, he earned his opportunity and cranked it out while he was a head coach. I think that's important to note. Speaking of Aaron Glenn, fire Aaron Glenn on YouTube here, gifting a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. Hey now, appreciate you. There's something oxymoron-ish about a fire Aaron Glenn, get rid of him, adding a new member to the Boy Green Coffee Club, but that's neither here nor there. Fire Aaron Glenn. You just got another raffle ticket for our contest. Brian Hilario, you are now a member to the Boy Green Coffee Club. So God bless. Shout out to Fire Aaron Glenn.
Yeah. You guys probably think that's me, but it's not.
Is it?
Saw you
on your phone there for a second, so who knows?
Say again?
I said I thought I saw you on your phone there for a second, so this must be your burner account. But either way, I
got no problem with AG. I'm just saying.
He's not as good as Saleh. I got you.
I didn't even say that. I'm just saying I'm not ready to say that he's about to do all these things that he's literally never done. That is what I'm saying.
Okay, so
I feel that's a lot of this whole conversation about the Jets right now. Is that we're expecting a lot of people to do things that they've never done before.
Well, I mean, that's sort of the entire process, right? Jets claim Jet fans were off-season champs. We're bringing people in and saying, Tyron Smith, he'll be healthy here. Well, he wasn't healthy there. Well, this will be this year. He wasn't there. So, that's what it all is. So that's going to, again, take some time to sort of convince, I think, that message over. Overall, though, with the cornerback room, I have less concerns than you. If I am to paint them, I feel great about Sauce. I feel great about MC2. And then the other guy, just to me, has to be solid. I don't have any otherworldly expectations that Brandon Stevens move over Sauce. We got a new number one corner around these parts. I just want him to be a solid average starter. And that's what I hope he is. And if he is that, great. He's got athleticism. He's got things where he's around the ball. Again, the tight window number that I have in my article from Rich Media, you guys can read that. I dropped that earlier today on Brandon Stevens. He is I guess I'll just pull it up. So I just read instead of me trying to half fake read a stat from earlier. This is, again, in my article for heavy.com talking about Brandon Stevens. Now the Jets wrestled him away. This is from Rich Samiti on the stat of why it's so impressive. Nearly 34% of Brandon Stevens' targets were tight window throws. That means less than 1 yard of separation. That was the 8th highest percentage of any corner in the National Football League. Minimum 250 coverage snap, which in essence says he has good coverage, but he's just not making that final game-changing play, whether, again, to Woody's point, it's a pass deflection or an interception. That's not happening consistently enough. And AG obviously looked at the guy and said, oh, I could get him to that next level. He's here. I could take him here. And Brandon Stevens did an interview with Caroline Hendershot, Jets team reporter, and said basically that same thing, is that Aaron Glenn sold Tim on the fact that I loved everything you got. I think I could take you here. And Brandon Stevens said, all right, let's go. Buckle up. And here we are. So we'll see what happens. But I feel pretty good about the cornerback room. We'll see what happens.
It is definitely not the worst room, but it's definitely also not the best room. So,
Fair.
that is that. Obviously, there's nothing bad to say about Sauce or MC2. Rooting for Quantez, our guy. And let's see if Stevens can earn his paycheck, because
Yeah.
right now I think it's too big, but we'll see. And again, how they're going to deploy these guys is different than how we've been used to seeing them deployed. So maybe they're about to see something that I don't even know. So I can give them that benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'll tell you, as I'm looking at my March Madness bracket, I might already be busted. I might. Nah, not really. My champion's still alive. But hey, man, that's the tournament. So I hope you guys all enjoy all the college basketball action. Woody, another fun show. And yes, I saw it earlier. People saying Mets season is back. Yeah, Syracuse Mets. I just finished up my baseball meeting before I hopped here on the show. So stay tuned. Woody might have some fun shows with other guests when I'm doing these afternoon baseball games, which are inevitably going to come throughout the season. So I appreciate Woody holding down the fort on some of those. So we'll have some of those coming up, and I'm looking forward to catching back up next Tuesday there, Wood.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a pleasure. Love the engagement on these shows. I feel like everybody's in a groove with us, just talking at 3. I love all the feedback, positive, negative, all around. Because it's real. That's what it's all about. Is we are here. Our love for the Jets is real. Our passion for the Jets is real, and our hope that they stop embarrassing us couldn't be more real. So I love the realism, and I appreciate you guys tuning in to chat with us every Tuesday and Thursday.
All right, guys, make sure you subscribe to both of our channels. This streams live in 5 different places, both of our Instagram accounts, both of our YouTube accounts. Boy Green on this side, Take Flight Talk on the other side. Make sure you show your love. Hop over on YouTube if you're watching it currently on the Boy Green channel. Make sure you subscribe to Take Flight Talk so you see all of mine and Woody's content together, plus all of his exclusive stuff he has on his own over there as well. So show your support, everybody. And I'll see you tomorrow morning, everybody, on Boy Green Daily, and appreciate you. Wood, God bless.
Peace.